everyone, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Recently I did a video about 10 handyman tasks that handymen have come into my house to do, and in this video I'm going to be sharing with you 20 of the DIY tasks that I have done. I am new to a lot of this DIY world, so a lot of these little things are going to be like really minuscule to you. They were big to me because I didn't know how to do them before I did them, and I either researched it, looked up a YouTube video, asked someone about it, got a recommendation from someone, and actually tried it myself. I don't have anybody here to help me with that kind of stuff, so I am on my own when it comes to fixing things, or I have to hire people. Okay, number one. When I first moved into my tiny house, I needed a place to put my essential oils. I put up a wooden shelf. I connected some screws on the bottom of 2 pieces of wood and screwed them into the wall, and that is now what holds my essential oils. I didn't hire anybody to do this. I didn't need help to do this. I kind of thought of it on my own. It's working. Nothing, they haven't fallen down or anything. Number 2, speaking of my business office, I did not have a lot of storage when it came to expansion in my business office. I decided to buy a bunch of baskets and I put them on the wall and I installed them myself. Now, it was kind of hard using the electric drill that I was using just because the basket was in the way and the shape of the drill wouldn't get inside of the basket, so I kind of had to mess around and use different different tools and stuff to try to get in there, but it finally worked. If I was to expand more, I don't think I would get those kind of baskets. Maybe something different with the lip down so that I can access the holes in the back. Number 3, when I was doing my beard balm video, I spilled a bunch of beard balm on my kitchen rug and it burned a bunch of holes in my rug, so I needed somehow a quick fix. I didn't want to replace the rug. What I did was I took some teal paint that looked exactly the color of the rug. I took an idea from someone else and I did it myself. I could have replaced it, but I didn't. I don't even notice it anymore unless I'm vacuuming and I vacuum over it. Number 4, when I first moved into my tiny house, I used to hear Rocky when he was inside storage staircase litter box. I would hear him knocking on the door, and I didn't understand why, because the door was closed, why it was making that sound. I realized that there was a latch that was missing a screw, and I found a screw and I put it in myself. Again, just needed a simple tool to put it in, so that was a quick fix. Number 5, I wanted to put carpet on my stairs going up to my bedroom loft, because I wanted to make it easier for the cats to run up and down, and I just wanted to take the pressure off of me going up and down there. I purchased some squares on Amazon and cut them to size, and I am using them as my carpet to go upstairs. So I used tape. I didn't use any kind of staples or anything like that. I was beside me. I didn't know what I was doing. So I just used the tape, and the cats are loving going up there. It takes the pressure off my feet, and that was a good DIY for me. Number 6, I took out a screw from the top of the wheel well on the outside of my tiny house. I was about to move my tiny house from Illinois to Georgia, and I noticed this screw sticking out. Before I moved my tiny house, I needed to find a way to get that out. So I asked a friend how to do it, and he told me to use the ratchet on that kind of screw to get that screw out, and thank goodness I got the screw out on my own. Just needed to ask help from a friend, but I did it on my own. Number 7, when I moved my house from Georgia to Tennessee, I had my TV off my wall, so to put it back up, because I was basically alone, I propped some boxes up, put the TV on top of the boxes, and used that as the other person, so to speak, to help me put my TV back up on the wall, because it's really heavy and you're trying to use these tools and stuff. So that was another DIY project that I was proud of. Made that one up myself. Number 8, at one point my compost toilet was rocky. I didn't understand why it was moving. I lifted it up and come to find out one of the screws was down in one of the holes. So I ended up using a couple pieces of cardboard to wedge inside there, and I ended up getting the screw out and was able to put the screw back in there. Again, this is something, the compost toilet, fixing it is beyond me. When I figured that out, I was very proud of myself. Didn't have to call anybody, didn't have to hire anybody. Number 9, again, when I first moved into my tiny house, I did not have it caulked on the inside. And I thought to myself, okay, they probably didn't caulk on the inside of the storage. I did. I went into my outside storage, put the doors down, and got inside there, crawled inside there, and actually caulked the entire thing so that bugs didn't have an entrance inside to my tiny house. Number 10, I added a extra lifting stair with a hinge on my storage staircase because one of them was basically not being used. So because it was just glued down, I had a friend help me and we pried that up and added a hinge to the back, put screws in there, and now I use that as extra storage. Number 11, recently when the handyman was over, I noticed a latch that was kind of broken in my kitchen. He told me, you can do it. So again, I went to my storage shed and got my screws, found a screw that would fit, and ended up doing that one myself. All I had to do was use one of my tools and put that right in there so it couldn't move. So he fixed the latch, but then I added the screw that was missing. Number 12, I fixed my mini split leak by going outside and vacuuming all of the water out of that drip hole that was connected to the mini split. So I don't exactly know where to do that on the inside of the house, but I had some suggestions come in to tell me to do it on the outside, and it basically worked. The hole is very small and the shop vac hole was bigger, so I had to take a towel and put it around there in order to form a suction so that more of the water would be sucked out, and it actually did work. Number 13, my kitchen sink was clogged and I had no idea why. I did another DIY thing and actually unhooked the pee drain. It was like a PVC plasticky looking thing. I unhooked that. There was some glue on it and out came this big wad of hair. Again, I didn't call a plumber. Thought to myself, I wonder what would happen if I just take this. So I took the connector piece off and I cleaned the pipe out myself. I was very proud of myself. Hoped I didn't ruin anything. Number 14, I replaced the carpet-like material that I have on the ladder going up to the CATLOFT with just a plain type of matting. Before I had it all taped down and I had to take all that glue off of there, but again, didn't have to hire anybody, didn't have to have anything installed. That's an easy DIY for me. Number 15, I installed washers behind my vertical hopper windows because they were incorrectly placed by the builder. When I came downstairs, we was living in Illinois, I came downstairs and the latch was down. I took it to social media and asked what should I do, and I think a suggestion came in to say put washers behind there, and when I put the washers behind there, it formed a tighter seal when the handle was up so that it wouldn't fall down when it was cold outside, because when it's cold outside things shrink. I did that on 2 of the windows. One of them I did not do it on, and since discovering mold in those windows, I think I'm going to be replacing them or having them turned the right side up so that something like that doesn't happen again. Number 16, along with those mold problems, when I was cleaning out my shower where I found mold, I discovered a big, again, wad of hair. So I basically took a bunch of brushes and snake-like things and fed it down in there and cleaned out the whole thing, and basically did it myself. Didn't call a plumber, just used materials from around my house, some vinegar and some baking soda, put it down there so it could break up the materials, and it ended up getting up a lot of moldy material and just hair and lots of stuff that was on the inside of the drain. That was a good fix, and now I can keep them maintained with the vinegar and the baking soda. Number 17, as you guys know, I recently resealed my kitchen counters. This was one of the bigger DIY projects that I have done because it required, bigger tools. To me, that kind of level of DIY was big. I'm not into that kind of level of DIY. I'll put a screw in something, but I don't know know how to do all that stuff, but apparently I am learning, so that is actually really great because I have always wanted to learn all of these things. That was a big one, and I'm proud of myself for doing that, and hopefully I can do more stuff around my house. Number 18, I also fixed the outside exterior storage box the same way as the windows inside here. I put washers on the back of them because the door was not opening. In order for it to be flush and level with the lock, it needed to be pushed out so that it could meet. So I put washers behind there, and that was the same kind of fix, but I did it myself. Number 19, I resealed my tiny house. I had hired somebody the first time I sealed my tiny house, and they say you have to keep up with the sealing of it on a wood house, say a tiny house, maintenance every year. I used Thompson's water seal, and I did it myself. Got up on a ladder. I had a big enough ladder. My friend let me use his, so I was able to go around the entire house and paint my house myself. I also did the trim. And number 20 DIY project that I have done, when the handyman was over and he put a hole in my house to add a vent to the convection oven area. We didn't wire it through the other electrical outlet that was there, so it was just a basic running fan. So what I did, and they kind of taught me how to do this, was I put it up on the inside of the convection oven with a screw, kind of like propped it up there, screwed it in, and now it's got a switch. So when I need to use the convection oven, I switch it on, the fan starts running, and then when I am done with it, I switch it off. Whereas the cat fan that it would have been connected to is running all the time. I didn't want the convection oven fan running all the time. So this was an easy fix for me to do, and he taught me how to do it. So that was a lot of little things that are DIY things that you guys would probably think are no big deal. But again, in this world, I find it easier to just hire people, but again, in my tiny house journey, I really want to learn these things by myself. Being handy and knowing how to use your tools, these things are good assets, and I want to learn these things. I want to learn more about how to use the tools, how to do DIY projects, so that I don't have to hire out as much. I don't want to have to depend on hiring other people to do all these things. When these handy people are over, or when I'm learning myself, I'll jot these things down or note them in my head, and I'm able to apply them to lessons for the next time. It is really great to share these things with you guys. I'm hoping that I'm helping you guys because I am learning a ton through my own journey. So if you guys like this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button below and click the notifications bell so you can receive a notification each time I post a new video, which is every Sunday. Thank you guys so much for watching. You're the best. I will see you in the next video. I had 10 handyman tasks for when I have handymaned. Don't put that. This week I'm going to be sharing with you about 20 different DIY tiny dreamer. Don't put that. I wanted to put kind of like a carpet or a stair. When I purchased some squares of carpet, some teal ones on Amazon, and I'm gonna start over. Number 6, speaking of placing don't put that, and we put the hinge against the end, hold on.